Hi YouTube. Today I want to start discussing the contents of the book First Things First, which is a follow-up of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I will leave a link where you can buy this book in the description. This book is really packed with very useful information, so I thought it would be nice to take it apart into several smaller steps, separate videos, and update as I'm reading the book on how I'm implementing the learnings into my daily life. So today we will start exploring the concept of urgency addiction and why it seems like you don't have enough time in the day. So specifically the contents for today, I want to create a deeper understanding of why you don't have enough time and why it feels like you're constantly rushing. And I also want to propose an alternative to that, so that we can end it on a bit of an optimistic note. The rest of the book is exploring actually how to implement that. There will be some very concrete examples of how you can implement the learnings into your daily schedule and routine. So don't worry, it will become very applicable for everyone. We'll actually start by describing the situation that everyone, I think, is familiar with. You are running, rushing from event to event, and always seem like you don't have enough time, and you're wondering, where did the time go? Then I want to introduce the concept of urgency addiction and really try to deep dive into what it means to be addicted, what an addiction is, and how that is really nicely formulated in the book. Thirdly, I want to give you a couple of handles, some very relevant questions that you can ask yourself. I will point out 3 in the video, but I will link down in the description a full comprehensive list of all the questions you can ask yourself to see if you are actually addicted to urgency. And fourth, I will discuss an alternative to urgency addiction, which is importance. So there is a lot to talk about in this video, so let's start. So why are you always rushing, and where does the time go? Imagine the situation that you are working at an office. It is 9 a.m. in the morning, you start your day, your calendar is already completely full with meetings, but you think, okay, I can handle this, I have the day planned, I know where I need to be at which time, and you start working. But all of a sudden you get some emails saying, hey, can you help me with this XYZ very urgent thing, has to be finished by the end of today. And you think, okay, this is super urgent, I have to pick this up. So you try to do that in between your meetings. You realize you miss a lot of very important information. Then a colleague comes to your desk saying, hey man, I really need your help. I just broke up with my girlfriend. I need to talk to someone. You also cannot say no to that. So you stop your work. You go and talk to your colleague. Then your wife texts you, hey, can you please pick up this and this package from the post office? I really need it today. So when your job is finished, which is already later than you actually wanted it to finish, you have to rush to get to the post office in time. But then you find out the post office is already closed, so you went there for nothing. And finally, you miss your soccer training that you actually wanted to go to because of all this. And you come home and your dinner is cold, basically. The problem that we have here is that we are enslaved to the clock. So what I mean by that is that the thing that dictates what we do in a day is always time bound. And it has nothing to do with the quality of time spent, or not even exactly what we spend the time on, but it's based on trying to cram more and more things in less and less time. And this has been basically the paradigm for a lot of time management techniques or methods. And it's all about efficiency, getting to do more in less and less amount of time. For many people, this has been the dominant mindset to live their life. So how can I get more stuff done in less time? But completely missing the point of, am I doing the right things? The things that really fulfill my life, that make me happy, that give me joy, that give me meaning to my life. Imagine you are driving a car on a highway and you really optimize the speed so that your gas usage compared to the kilometers that you're driving is really, really optimized, super efficient. But what if you're driving in the opposite direction that you actually want to go? In that case, your efficiency doesn't matter because you're not effective. You're not doing the thing that you want to do. And you can see this in the daily life of many people, including myself, of course, that you are urged to do urgent things. And there are so many urgent things. In fact, there are always, in any given moment, more things to do than you can get done anyway. So you are pushed in a mindset where you cannot even think. You just have to keep doing, otherwise you have the sense of lagging behind. What is this actually? The book, First Things First, explains it very nicely as urgency addiction. So urgency addiction should really be seen as an addiction, and I will explain to you why. The first thing that you need to know about an addiction is that, of course, it has a huge negative connotation and a negative impact on people's lives. There is a positive side to addiction, otherwise you wouldn't start doing it in the first place. So if you imagine cocaine addiction, cocaine makes you feel wonderful, right? As people tell me, I've never used it before. Same goes for alcohol, let's say. If you drink alcohol, you get more confident, you get more open, you feel like you are in a good mood, all these nice things. You can say the same for an eating disorder. If you eat a lot of very sweet things, they make you feel good, they make you feel warm. So in the short term, there's actually something that it brings to you, and that is it makes you feel good. For the sense of urgency addiction, what it gives to you is that it makes your actions validated. Because what you're basically doing is every time that you get to solve a crisis, you get to be the hero that rides into town and fights the bad guys and saves the town in the last second, just before something really bad would have happened, really just before the deadline. You are the hero, everyone is cheering, and then off you go into the sunset, riding on your horse. And that is actually the great feeling that you get because you could solve something very urgent. There is a higher reward connected to that. And some people might even identify themselves or are being identified by other people as this is the person you should ask if you have an urgent problem, like he or she can solve that for you. So that's a real role that people create that they would like to fill or are forced to fill in some moments. And this can be very addictive, especially if you haven't really thought about what is important in your life. You don't have a clear guidance of what you want to do. This is a very easy mechanism to get a quick reward. And I think that this is very, very relevant in today's society where everything is at our fingertips. You can watch any kind of video on the internet. You can eat almost any kind of food at the moment that you want it. It's everywhere in supermarkets. You can listen to any kind of music. You can read any kind of text. So the possibilities are basically unlimited. And attention spans are also very limited because you need something that captures your imagination at that moment. Otherwise, you will just click or swipe away. And a similar thing goes for actions that you do. So urgency gives you that instant reward that your brain is now trained for craving. I just wanted to read a couple of things that are also listed in the book that explain addictive experience. So not specifically urgency addiction, but addictive experience as such. And I think it's very interesting. It says, creates predictable, reliable sensations, because whenever you fix a problem, you get a feeling of, yes, you did a good job. Becomes the primary focus and absorbs attention. So without any other alternative, what people just do is keep on trying to get more and more of those responses. So keep putting themselves in urgent situations and even feeling that if they are not, they will feel bad about it. It temporarily eradicates pain and other negative sensations. So all the sacrifices you made become irrelevant the moment that you can succeed. Provides artificial sense of self-worth, power, control, security, intimacy, and accomplishment, which is obvious, right? Exacerbates the problems and feelings it is sought to remedy. So indeed, once you fix the problem, you feel like now I need to fix even more problems to get to that same state again. So you're always in this hamster wheel running around. And sixth, worsened functioning creates loss of relationship. And I think this is probably a key point to highlight, because if you have things that give you a good feeling that you can continue on doing without losing functionality or worsening relationships, you can even say to a certain extent that that can be your choice, and it can be a, I don't know, positive choice, I guess, if that works for you. But if it starts to deteriorate your functioning in real life and also your relationships, that's where it starts to become really problematic. I hope that by now you understand the situation that we're in, that we are all in. So we are actually in a situation, we are in a society that makes it very, very appealing and very likely to be sucked into this urgency addiction, to be enslaved by the clock. And I hope you also by now understand that it is really an addiction, what we're talking about. So to help you further along, to also check yourself if you are actually addicted or to which degree you are addicted, the book gives a really nice list of questions that you can ask yourself in a self-reflective way, and you can answer that on a scale from 0 to 4, and then based on the answers added up, you can see where you are on the spectrum. And I will link that questionnaire in the description below so that you can check it yourself. But I wanted to take 3 questions as an example that you can immediately check, okay, how do I stand? So the first question is, I always seem to be rushing between places and events. So I know a lot of these people, and I also do it myself. Again, I am not excluded from the list of people that are addicted to it. You always are behind. So the moment you arrive at your location, you're already late, which means you need more time to actually finish the thing you wanted to do. And that means you will also be late for the next thing. And there are already things coming in between. So you are always rushing from one place to the next, trying to, make sure you're healthy, make sure you meet your friends, make sure you do your job right, make sure you're reading. All these things, even trying to relax, is becoming a thing that you need to check off on the list in the context of the ever ticking clock. So if you are somewhere like that, answer the question between 0 and 4. And the next question is, I often give up quality time with important people in my life to handle a crisis. I think that one speaks for itself. That is really the 6th point of the addictive experience that I just listed. If it starts to affect your day-to-day functionality and the relationships you have with people, then it really starts to become an issue. And 3, I keep thinking that someday I'll be able to do what I really want. So, and this is also a very common fallacy, that you just think that, no, it's just this week, it's just this month, this period, that there are a lot of things happening at the same time. And after this period, it will be better and I will have it more under control. This is a real fallacy that I see myself slipping into as well. But the fact is that you cannot control situations that might or might not happen. And as I learned in my life as well, that things will keep on happening, and there will always be more things for you to do than you can do. So hoping for a time where less things will happen, perhaps COVID was kind of like that. There were at least way less things that you could do, no social activities, and maybe also exercising was more let go of. But in principle, I would say don't hope for a shorter winter, let's say, the winters will always come, and it will always happen when you least like it. So the final point, maybe the thing that most people are actually also interested in, is what is then the alternative? So I've been sketching this horrible picture of the world where society and the environment in which we live is already so much pointing towards this instant gratification, and the clock is ticking, the boss is standing behind your desk checking out what you're doing, there are all these requests coming in, and you also need to be looking good, healthy, meeting your friends, meeting your family, doing your spiritual practices and whatnot. So how can we actually solve this? And I hinted towards that already. The comparison that you should make is that of the clock and the compass, which is a very key metaphor that I will use more in the coming videos. So the clock is, as I discussed, the urgency, but the compass is the thing that points you towards the true north. So giving you the true meaning and true direction, the thing that is most important. And what is most important to you can be different from what is most important to me. That's why it's also your compass. But there are a couple of things that we can say about that, which I want to touch upon in the following video. I will deep dive into which things are actually at the core of what is important and are the things that we should consider first things. But for now, you can already kind of reflect on what you know to be things that are important for you based on the things that you want to achieve in life and what you are actually doing at the moment. So I also want to quickly stop and read again a list from the book that describes what most people say if they were asked these questions. What is the one activity that you know, if you did superbly well and consistently, would have significant positive results in your personal and work life? There's a list of what most people answered, of I think about 1,000 people, and the list is improving communication with people, better preparation, better planning and organizing, taking better care of self, seizing new opportunities, personal development, and empowerment. So, as you might realize, none of these things have anything to do with urgency. They are all what we call important things. And if you want to understand more, and it's also described in the book, on how you can deal with importance and urgency, I really urge you to have a look at one of the videos that I already made before, which is about the Eisenhower matrix, that tells you exactly how you can visualize a matrix with urgency and importance, and which things are, in which quadrant of that matrix you should spend most of your time and why. Next time, we'll explore the 4 principles of the importance paradigm, so you can really set that opposed to the urgency paradigm that we're currently in and slowly start to make that shift towards living a more fulfilled and better life. If you liked the video, please leave a like. And if you want to see more of my content and don't miss the next video, subscribe to my channel. But above all, have a nice day.